The question of negotiating and cooperating with terrorists has been asked since the beginning of the war on terror in the early 2000s. If we pay people who kidnap and blackmail, then they're going to do it again. But if we don't, lives are lost and countless other things that cannot be accurately predicted might happen. So you have the definite loss of money or the indefinite loss of life and collateral damage. And it's not an easy choice because if you pay, you'll be funding the people that you're trying to stop. And if you're funding them, then they're going to keep taking people because they can. The article explains these positions not necessarily with respect to terrorists, but the position, but with respect to hackers who as they can operate from anywhere are an equally respected threat. Because of the gray area in the law and the fact that there's no law forbidding it and no guideline expressly permitting it, they force people to make a choice and act outside the law. And then the article adds to the discussion of how the negotiating with terrorists and hackers policy might affect ethics and law in the future. Specifically, that Congress should not pass a law which would forbid the payment of ransoms, because it would create a horrific game of chicken. And with respect to hackers specifically, it would disadvantage smaller firms who have fewer resources to protect themselves. It suggested that companies practice zero trust security, which is to assume that their networks are already compromised and act accordingly. But again, this solution is effective, but it's very complex and very expensive, which smaller firms don't have the resources to implement.